Alright, well, clip it. Stop taking my recordings. Welcome YouTube. Consulting content episode. I'll be your host, Wyatt'Siberia. And I've put out the recording that I just made, 39 minutes. And this one. Because stop recording. Nothing wrong with clipping. But my new tool is taking all my recording stuff and making it really long. A lot of MB, even when I convert it to MB. So I guess we'll have both. I don't really like the last one. But I kind of like it. It got serious. But it was just drawn out with a lot of stuff that I read that I really wanted to explain, but I didn't feel comfortable. It is what it is. I don't even know if some of this stuff it didn't. So, yeah, that's got it. I don't think this is. Nope, that's December 19th. And I would have read this too. Anything beyond the 20. So my roommate's here to mind his space, because I need to kind of explain some of it, but I also don't want to intrude on his space. All right. Kb.Defense.Gov. They are my original hiring party. They hired me with Vial8425. Owner key for master lock. I was not a draft pick, but it turned out to be. And the host of a candidate introductory community union conglomerate initiative contract classified deployment stipulation with the disposition of fossil fuel in the eventuality, the possibility of only survival. OST. But my legal name is Wyatt'Siberia. Y yin yin yang. The one clarification belongs to Violet. VIOLAT. Violet. Violet. Now, I don't know. I could not have included this in my last recording because it seems so similar. I'm a non-commissioned Master Chief Admiral. Letter Y, man. And by brass, just got promoted to policy official, to private, publicized. A hybrid admin at the A Howler Particularized and C Vital Days for private shelter privy shout out by. Baron and Jennifer Silverstein poisoned the punch bowl for way too long. proud of that. 5th grade science teacher and student regenerate missing for eons, and I reappear only to have magnetic consent forms. Just joking. Bull says, I will never be the same. Student turns out to be undercover veteran-level service member, Guilford Public Schools, Connecticut. In other news, this seems to be the case between the FBI and an A hybrid or intersex hermaphrodite lesbian Mormon by female gender, or his or her. 4th grade studies confirm, report indicate. No one even seemed to notice, including the innuendo preposition that he is acting eyes and ears of the totality due to lack of trust between the conglomerate and the general public. Otherwise describes as being the faculty member put in charge of functional operations. A strikingly odd news report that, along with the other one, is almost impossible to surface, even by New itself, or reason she suspects to believe, popular belief governing due process. Satisfaction. In the satisfaction, is it, or is it not true, that as a purveyor of services renderable on a monetary basis, an account would not be able to secure more than a divisible at a multiple of 4 equal to the value of a hologram by the rate of $1 while spending and earning, unless illegal methods were used at any time introduced manually, as in minus 50% for work exertion, times 2, pay doubles as a median for effort, equals 1 sustainable life, equals X variable results, equals 4 number representing a unit for 4 and X. I got a lot. I have the same problem. I have a lot of money that just I shouldn't have, but I didn't get it illegally. Even as I got old, I shouldn't have more money than a 2410, but X, a 24X10. I would like you to attempt to put any and all things to good use now, as long as they are able to forgive themselves and they have not been condemned by society. And nature them flawlessly on how they can put themselves to good use. Countermeasures have been set in place for this to correct our past mistakes. Preventative medium system. Time is now a toll booth. Come on, people, let's get moving. I want to see some signs of life. This is Judgment Day. I want to see some boots. Let's move. Let's go. No more problem solving. I want eyes on me. I want eyes on them, and I want eyes on the news. Come on, let's go. Let's get this perimeter secure. Okay, let's do this. Tech, I'm suspecting this girl's a man. Now, what else to do? But I'm going with you on this one. Again, people, I'm going with this one. Good luck was all they ever gave him. And all this is because of Wyatt'Siberia deserves to know the truth. No, I'm just reading. I want to explain some of it, but I can't figure out since I made it so clear. Any ideas on a final resolution that will work for all of us, that is not harmful in any way at all? Question mark. And when my soul is to take and my sacrifice is foreboded as a stunning shock and a spinning machine of a soldier versus the collapsing leverage of the enemy con artists at large, I will turn my back and say, in a sickly, gothically grimacing fashion, without fear of the oncoming onslaught or horde behind me, and advancing rapidly, to somewhat of a laughing, silent scream that my groan of self, heretic sight, and hindrance sword, by the way, is very easy because it is my own grow, For me to hide, I do it. Disciplined and hidden away, and asked me why I say all of this. I said, "Come with me," in the form, as I turn away, of my lieutenant mind, as the admiral has mistaken his identity for your creed, and purely all fury, as in I look like I don't. I mean, don't give a shit anymore, but really, all fury has been unleashed for you to follow him. Not a word to have been spoken, just footsteps you will follow anyway, begging you for mercy, for when you reach his end, you will be the bigger man, the exactly yellow September Black or X-Files, based on an actual event according to the file for a man named Y, the letter Y, the alphabetical dictionary information, English format, Wyatt'Siberia, Vial8425. Conglomerate lead, select lobbyist report to the 4 war zones, warzoning, warzoner, population and damage control consultant, admin clearance permit issued by authority to invalid. Do that one thing, do it right. Do it all together or do nothing at all. Trust exercise. This was yesterday. Expect to be caught when you fall, or the day before. And being held back by your friends when you are about to attack them. At the same time. The first guide, Holy Spirit Wine, Draftpick Admin Hybrid, CCs, and EASECSEIZE. Conglomerate Initiative Contract, CIC, Community Union, and C's, all one word, CEASESEIZE, CU. Eyes and ears of the OST, as in only survivor training of service. We look at the manual. We rely purely on our instincts and training when we are deployed. We are not by the book. We do not have time. We have no way to. There are too many free radicals. Listener. I have a radio station. It's Koi 11.9. Identify what my brain does. Identify the antechamber. Well, my chamber, my sanctum. Hero. Identify the antechamber you are located in, and if the bodily quarters is one of the faculty members put in charge of the functional operations by the Army. If you have become subjected to the subjective behaviors, if in some way you have not changed the subject yourself. Verify the individual certification, ask for proof of producible or procurable credential documentation, overlook the file and as a whole address all of the general public if at first the only solution due to the first degree justice and process by second degree law, third degree constitution of the actual settlement, such as a dormitory and sanctuary services are made available, or in other words, a protected residency is meeting your comfort zone and needs level. Secondarily, if this action is evidenced only by factual, no compromise solutions, and thirdly, if your progress or health becomes as an individual or is at stake, immediately filing umbrellas after a system error occurred by request of the authority permission slip. P.S. I was put in charge of a volatile position, that being the medical supervision supervisor title. Fully, the whole thing. Entirely, total. I just want you to know, no matter what, I promise to never leave you or give up on you and love you. But seeing as it may that war, all capital letters, W-A-R, double V, it is a double V. That appears to be a double V-A-R, not a W-A-R. It is a double V. A W is a double V, not a W. A double V is not a W. A double V is a W, but it's not the way that you say it. It looks like two V's to me. Moving on. Has ultimately been crossed off of my universal log. Please be advised I can barely move. 0498800618, so I'm not going anywhere anymore. Social Security number. Although my grant for respite for government and military officials is coming to an end, and I will most likely be riding in helicopters, SIS Secret Intelligence Service, as a missionary. In my old age, I must forgo my vow of my soul to take, but may the rest of them always stand. I only ask of you that you try to complete what I cannot at the moment in terms of this text, for, as a German bombardier once said, Pot, I have plenty of time, POC. I have plenty of time to figure this out now, like NOVV. I always was available to tell you who, what, where, when, and how. I hope to hear from you soon. I still love you. Once again, please tell the environs, be wished and be mused, that ordered my arrival from state of the art. They put it in the right hands. Put here from the very beginning, first organism. They put it in the right hands. Academic 101. Organic. Bye. See you soon. Memories, messages, stored, MSM outsend. Smoking, hot princess. Picture of Jennifer Silverstein. Another picture of Jennifer Silverstein. A picture of Jenny. Jenny later on in life. Okay, you search Jennifer Silverstein. That one. And then if you search, well, porn teacher. You'll see one with a tattoo. R. Where's the tattoo? R backward EVOL, all backward letter UTIO. She's my babe. All I ever had to say was more. That's all I ever had the chance to. Oh boy, I love you. I do. Yes, I do. I do. Four pictures. One where she's holding the camera up to her face. You can see her arm. She's sitting back with her leg up. One where she's looking to you from her desk. I took that picture. And one where she's looking at you from the hallway. I took the picture. I put drugs. Anyway. Yeah. I said this last night. I don't get it. Why you see what I do? I don't get it. You just see why you just see what I do and nothing else. Like, oh, and by the way, that's already over and done. Bye. I was super jacked and roadkill until this was all out in the open to me only. And then I got superficially sensed. Thank you. I've starved for you. I got a vape. I've starved for you. Dehydrated and sleep deprived, lonely in the holy war, until evolved by Regent until I could not again. And this is all you have to give. Draftpick for candidates out. Micromedex, as in MICROMEDEX. I'm on subscription to Red Book Pharmacy. I got my device back, my reproductive synthetic liver system machine. Put the button on. Slave that age until cured of dementia. Give up hope of happiness and the will to go on, and surrender to the U.S. Army. That's some Wyatt'Siberia with. Say it again. Give up hope of happiness and the will to go on, and surrender it to the U.S. Army. That's my legal advice. After death means after death. AD means AD. In national security at the time and date didn't read that. Again with the setup scam stewardess 6 cents for the century. The word is Sally, dress up, fess up, no luck NASA's. Not already a soldier, a suspect, recognized as one. According to Social Security Card Services, 1. Do not put anywhere or hold for any reason. 2. At least do not engage with anyone who does not present prior engagements with you or anyone priorly recognized to have served. been in the service, and cooperatively proven their potential with you as a man who has continuously been in the business of protection with the law. 3. Do not respond to those who do not originate above the legal age limit of 21 to 48 years, having been recorded to have served for the United States NPC code verified. Pretty strict, huh? The only legal name Wyatt'Siberia. Asking why. I am why. So when you are trying to ask me a question, so you are trying to ask me a question, as in how, who, what, where, when, the purpose, the reason. You don't just start saying why, and expect me to answer if I don't hear you like you know me, like you can call me, or you can just clarify and try to clearly address me directly from where you are. You ask for the purpose. What's the purpose of that? What's the reason of that? How does that happen? When does what occur, and where, and with who? But I am why. Don't get it confused. You want to get rich. I'm Wyatt'Siberia. So you want to get me. I don't quite get it. Understand it all. The definition of Baron in English is the Dark Lord. So I really don't understand. There can only really be one of me. And by now you should just know to ask how. At least make myself throw up sign language, composer, and thumbs down to the disgusted faces, middle fingers. I have one to the 5 fingers, as in the sword pose, about to withdraw. Piece 2 to piece 1, SSZZX, simple solvents, battered and abused, shattered live, private resting, protected resident, action, load the whole shotguns, laying down and now stand as in references, Hogan shotguns, SSX, and the Holy Guard. The Bachelor effect is a neutral and controlled test application, but a permanent mark on the record. And what we first did is have thank you drugs. That you just don't understand until we give you some shit that you try on the street. The Bachelor effect is it's a Bachelor effect, is a neutral and controlled test application, but a permanent mark on the record to have to do so. Doesn't less, such to say, the stand-in for the bystander of the person who was being represented on behalf of or by for investigatorial purposes should not be put in the public sector if it is already being handled by someone whose vocation or whose job it is to find that shit out and bring to a chamber of summons of the general public of the formal body of the public and the moderator to be sentenced for consequences. The hacker effect comes in a third world, second nature, first degree offense system. The botched, as in you did it wrong, but we still tried to, ricochet it back to where it should be. The botched effect is worse where you are acting on a need-to-know basis, or in other words, a silent treatment. The hacker effect comes in a third world, second nature, first degree offense system when it comes to a public speaker of the House, face of the nation, presidential campaign, and is not requiring notification. And many different new approaches are taken by, in the quest is called a who and a what. Take war off the quest calendar. At least in my Captain Plug. Now here's something I could explain to you. Say you give one person $1 for every year they were alive, and you expect that dollar to go to good use. Maybe all they do is buy one burrito one day of that year, and the next year they spend the second dollar and have one left over to buy a Coca-Cola can. Maybe they find a couple pennies on the ground and they scrounge up a Coke can one year and a burrito the year before. I guess that'd take a couple more years. But when they're 100 years old, the life expectancy of an adult from beginning to end is shorter than that. So you could give him $100 in total, expecting 100 years out of his life. But you can't do anything around the age of 95. With each dollar you give him each year. You can't even give him the extra $5. You can't do anything with him. He's dead. So he opens a bank account. Maybe he's got a job, but he opens a bank account just for that dollar that you give him. Now the bank has to be accountable for the return investment of the reason he has the money in the first place. Is that he'll continue to receive money and deposit it in the bank. But in 95 years, he doesn't even have the extra $5 that you were planning on giving him. When he turns 100, he's got $1 for every year he was alive from you. And the bank now says we've got $95 of this man's money. We can no longer receive deposits from him because he's deceased. You can't even give him the extra $5 because he's deceased. Now $95 is in the bank. They can't give it back to the person or the people that gave it to him. They don't know who or how. He never put that in his contract to give the money back if he dies. But now the bank can't do anything with him. The place where he worked at, that was paying him for his job with his other bank account, maybe he's got $1 million in it. But now they can't use the $1 million, and they have to give it to someone else's bank account, and it might be a different bank. And now the bank is at a loss because we're expected to go 100 years as organisms. Let's not put a stylus on it and call everyone human. Everyone who's human isn't necessarily a human. I'm not a human. I'm a migrant alien legally. I'm Wyatt. I might look at you like why. Like who, what, where, when, how, all together. And just start cocking my head back and forth like I don't fucking get it. Like I totally fucking get it because I'm much smarter than you, but I don't fucking get it. Because I'm Wyatt. Why at you? I'll just look at you like either way. Left part of Y, cock my head to the right. Right part of Y, I'll look down your whole spine. But I'll just I'm an alien. I'm not a fucking human. I just have to fit in with the dominant species to get what everyone else gets. I might get dissected if I start looking like I really do. Which is adamant skin, horns for ears, large fucking wings, like a Godzezma in Magic the Gathering, a wild one. Registered and shit, but like a wild top of the chain analyst food power alien. Very sophisticated and like don't give a fuck if I have to do it like this. It's better. I'll just feel like I have to make a profit off. But, you know, so now they've got this account with $1 million, but now the people that he works for can't do anything with him. Let me put it too simply. This is what I wrote, what I said to my foster caretaker that I made myself when I regenerated. If in 100 years that guy you gave the $100 to, I wrote this right after I said it, is dead, and the bank says we can't make any more money off him, what's the point in creating him an account? For the purpose of a return investment. And I went into this because I said, you know, Dad, well, you know, Papa, I call him Pa, you know, Pa, Home Depot, you know, could be like the size of that hill over there because their whole motto and slogan could be everything you could ever want in a home instead of just build a home at Home Depot. Wouldn't that be great? I'm going to call him the next day and hang up and pitch the idea
And they'll be like, what the fuck? We could do that. We got the money. But they probably have that in their contract. And he said, yeah. And I said, don't you wonder the reason? I always ask him before I tell him that they're not doing that already. Like, all these stores aren't offering us all these other products that they probably have. Paw. Make him like, yeah, you want to answer me, don't you? Yeah, why? I do find that interesting. And this was interesting because I said all this to him. Well, first of all, there's energy. And he's like, make it simple. Okay, I will. Military has state-of-the-art technology, hardware. Okay, the military has military hardware. It's very complex. It's very sophisticated. The technology is beyond our ability to understand. But the military, he can go in there and he can use it. Because it's some real special grade shit. And he can get all that shit done. Right? But say he goes over and he finds out from MI6, Secret Intelligence Service, Mission Impossible Clearance 5/1, SIS, that their technology, that they over there have secret intel, in their room for whatever computer they have, finds out that the money in the account that's getting spent at Home Depot, let's just say at a store, make this more simple. The consumer, the energy that the consumer uses to pick up the product can be picked up like a satellite, like an internet server, like online, actively, and find that it's less than adequate or less than apt to serve the purpose of the product being sold to that particular customer. And later on, it can be done so many times that the power in the sector goes out. Like the power goes off, like flicking a light switch on and off, standby, you turned it on, you turned it off. Now, so many of this one product has been sold to so many of the same consumers who are finding deceased that they can no longer have the energy required to release, to sell, to give out the goods, the products, to anyone. And they now find that there's, in their secret intelligence service, the power, like in the sector in which the consumer, making a recording, it's all good. I'm doing something here. It's not, I saw you look, what are you doing? So if that sector requires a certain amount of power, a certain amount of energy to sell to people, but we don't have it. Like, we don't have 100 to 200 years to generate statistics, right? Like, we don't exert any energy when we travel. We don't have a better product than a cow that requires no exertion. You can push the motherfucking cow over and you can rip its fucking leg out with a hacksaw. You don't have to require basically any you could use a goddamn laser cutter on a cow now. Well, you can't get a laser. I can get a laser cutter. You can get a chainsaw and saw a cow's leg off when you push the thing over. You could get a machete and basically chop it off and sharp enough, and you did not use any energy to kill the cow. When you eat the cow, you didn't require any energy to kill the cow. Well, why do you think we don't have fucking super cow? Because in about 200 years, this whole generation is suspected to be dead. if in 100 years, that guy you gave the $100 to, 100 years later, $100 out of your pocket is dead, deceased, and the bank says, we can't make any more money off him. What's the point in creating him an account in the first place? Well, I'm Wyatt in the first, Wyatt is in the first, why in the first place, that's my name. So you can go who, what, where, when, how, purpose, and reason. Don't come to me. I'm more of a problem-solving answer, way complex alien type hybrid admin with a long military service record and assets beyond fucking Pluto. So I have a briefcase, and unless you ask me to like we said, we're briefing, we're doing a scanning and a prior beforehand servicing situating. We'll go through, they'll scan and they'll read and they'll determine if I can meet with you. And now if I can't bring a businessman's briefcase, we're not going to meet for business. I'm sick of this. For the purpose of a return investment. So what is that? It's a return investment. In 100 years, that $100 better be $100 million, not a dead body. So I can't do shit with you. And that $100, I can't do shit with it. The bank can't do shit with it. Maybe give it to your fucking sibling. But you return the investment. So I would say they'll invest in you. All in the outline of the contract. All it takes is to still be there and spending $100 bills in 100 years. They'll invest in your case if you're willing and can do. But if you can't return the energy that it takes to return the product to the shelves, and that's why at the Home Depot, the side of that hill is not a big everything you could ever want in a home. In the Home Depot, it's just we can build you a house when you come to Home Depot. All we have is industrial building supplies. We don't have everything. But in our contract, we could have it, but the trust. So if we trust that you're going to buy the product and use it 100 years later, then we can give it to everyone because there's one person out there that can use it in 100 years later, like a cell phone. SELFON. All right. For the purpose of a return investment, so to speak, the energy the consumer exerts to buy the product and the trust it takes to release one occurs, but the power in the sector in which it was done goes off. What do? You reform. Because constantly, if you want to survive, but no one else is, you just keep reforming what everyone else is with all the shit that you're working on alone. You expect this generation not to make it, not to live, not to survive, to be dead, deceased. The life expectancy 100%. Then you just go by 100. Because once you got a 1, you got a 10, you got a 15, but you got 100. You go by 100 years, you start saying 100 years from now, the next generation from the first generation, and all the people they brought in from their naming, rather than waiting 9 months and possibly dying in pregnancy. Meaning they just woke up whatever sounds like them by saying it out loud. Anyway. Telestar, Comlink, Land Mobile, Free Source, Missing Link Information, Apache server. There's a Tycoon server now. Questionnaire and survey. Writing the missing content so that what the phone never had entered into it has been entered into it, and all in such an algebraic limerick, it all makes sense and it actually runs and works a program when it's put into it. So that was done. Once again, that was October 16th, 15 14th to the 18th, 2015 by me. But we didn't go public. Too much to sum it up with twos and stuff like that. Internet recording, about to, before, continue, be smart, world, talk, all that. Is it everything you could ever want in a two, or is it I can't? Sorry. That's where Y comes in on how damage control results not only in contract losses but population control and time of the essence being a toll booth. Please now participate in actuating verifiable employees only. Thank you. Give up hopes and happiness. I think I said that. Give up hopes and happiness. The world to go and surrender it to the U.S. Army. That's my legal advice. D as in deed, death. The debt collector, as in deed, debt collector. Wyatt'Siberia's girl, bipolar diagnosis. He can twilight by day, bide by night. Physical by division of the site. Why staying privy, vitality. Maya Net, Scarlet, Byron, Firman, Switzerland, Army Gov. Our bargain, torture, coming from a war tour soldier, paid off, you were sick. It was February 22nd, 2014. I went to the Hive. I asked to meet the character. November 16th, 2015. I did code word good luck. I'm maturing. That's torture. Miss Johansson, your sister Violet has asked me to write you in request of your assistance. Scarlet, although your icy relationship took a turn for the worst, I have a job for you. She continues to board the train, murmuring something about only survivors and that she has lost her red book. She says it's somewhere near the Union City, but without you, it will take forever to download it. Whatever that means, she just says, you mentioned that specifically. Why it is she told me to say that. To the best of my knowledge, I really do not understand. Scar, Vi is acting crazy. Now running off about the Mayan calendar and how it's sure to still occur unless we put the two orchids in the vial marked 8425. I really do not know what to do. Make sense of all of this. Without you, please don't take it personally. Again, now as I write about something about a mirror and seeing you when she looks in it. And Dark Lord, what else she's saying now? Now she's making me put now, too, with a pale, confused cataractic glaze over her swirly pink eyes, flooming about the room, screaming, or else, with your name tattered between her speech. Mercy, the jillions of problems I'll have if this does not reach you through these email addresses. It's just been so long since you two have spoken to each other. In any event, please come as soon as you can. I'll have a helicopter standing by at your service with two authorities' permission slips granted for all at any passages included. At your first notice that you decide you would like to arrive. She just enrolled in a Human Inception Academy, all expenses paid for, Associates of Science degree. If this should be your willing gaze upon reading to rekindle your old real odds, Miss Madame Arnett, she is curfewed to be home by Bungie at 3485 Carriage Chase Road, Atlanta, Georgia 30349, in the United States of America. Dearest regards, Mr. Richard Barron. FedEx, Binko, Kinko's, NASA's not a soldier, a suspect, are rampancy. Life without a price and money to spend. Undercover issue painless. Veteran level serviceman obtain. Side life and flank the fantasy until you cannot, as in do not, half, as in a half of one, is 0.5. Do not have to. 0.5. 2.5. Read this again. I don't know if I wrote this in. I probably did. You know what? I'm gonna go back and check. I don't want to do two things at once. I've already done it. Okay, I did. After death means after death. AD means. Alright. Oh, that's the Scarlet Jackets. Is that some? Okay, and here, here we have a picture of Faux Killer Creek, Turner McDonald Parkway, 400 Highway 8, 7 Holcomb Ferry Road, High Creek Drive, Grand Creek Drive, Crique, Mansell Road, Duke Drive, Liberty Trace, Parkmont Drive, Old Roswell Road, Roswell Creek Apartments, Big Creek, Faux Killer. We have 1135 Old Roswell Road. (1105) Old Roswell Road pictures. And 1186 Old Roswell Road. Why do we have these pictures? That is the hive backyard. There's a pond. Faux Killer Creek, Georgia, USA. Look it up. It looks pretty sketchy. Authentication insufficiencies. Exclamation point. You are U.S. Armied. Bye.